Sam Darnold is signed.
The Jets have done something no other NFL team has done. They signed a first-round draft pick to a fully guaranteed contract. 4 years, $30 million. I'm pretty sure I saw it was fully guaranteed.
I don't think so. I think they kept the offset language for suspensions. Not for injuries outside of football. He's still guaranteed for that because he's... I think he might be a surfer or something. I know he does other physical activities.
So he's a douche is what you're saying.
And I know that was a big thing, but really the hang-up was his agent. Jimmy Sexton is very irritating for GMs, and that can be good for players, but also he's not always looking out for his players' best interests, and he really wasn't, I don't think, as far as getting the offset language removed for suspensions. He was trying to do that for the rest of his clients, because Darnold's not a guy you're worried about with suspensions. Dude's like a Boy Scout. Like, he's as close to...
He's Tim Tebow.
He's as close to, like, that kind of, like, zero off-the-field issues. Unless he's, like, a secret serial killer.
Could you imagine, like a serial killer?
Like, he has the most, like, clean look and demeanor that I've ever seen. And less, in my opinion, I like it better than Tebow because he's not like all in your face with it. With the let me kneel and blah blah blah.
Tebowing.
Banging hookers on the
No, that's Jimmy Garoppolo. That's Jimmy G.
I don't know if Tebow was actually doing that. Probably not. But
probably not. But, he's just out there hitting home runs.
But that suspension language, I absolutely agree with GMs that you shouldn't be guaranteeing players money for suspensions. Fuck that. They got suspended. They deserve not to get paid.
Could you imagine?
How they'll set him up now?
What?
How they're going to set him up now?
Yeah. No. Could you imagine if like Pac-Man Jones' agent was like, "Yeah, fully guaranteed."
Yeah.
Like, fuck it. I'm getting suspended every week.
Yeah.
Josh Gordon, I ain't played a game in 3 years.
He'd be chilling. I don't know.
I ain't ever playing again. Smoke weed every day.
Speaking of Gordon, actually, I kept him in one of my fantasy leagues. That's what kind of faith I have in the Josh God.
Congrats.
Awesome.
And that's despite him missing training camp because he went back to rehab. But he did it preemptively because he felt anxious about the upcoming season. That, to me, says that dude's committed. That's him going on his own. That's not him, needing to go because he got caught smoking again or something. And his drug problem was way bigger than just weed. Everyone always says it's just weed, but he said that he was addicted to Xanax and like opioids since like middle school. So,
well, weed was the only thing that he
got caught for.
Well, that they could prove he tested positive for.
Right.
The other stuff was like, oh, he tested positive for something. Yeah. We don't know, but definitely weed. By the way, have a good night, not a clue. Thanks for listening. So the Colts, I think, have more questions than answers, really. The next team probably has more answers than questions, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Biggest question, can that defense be as dominant as it was last season? Is Jalen Ramsey potentially the best defensive player in the NFL? I saw this. So this question asked... got a bad case of the hiccups tonight. So this question asked in one of the sports groups I'm in, and I know the answer to that is no. He's definitely not. Anyone who doesn't realize that it's Aaron Donald probably has a problem with their eyes because they can't see. Aaron Donald is far and away the best defensive player. But if I had to pick another player on defense to make the argument for best, he'd be right up there with Khalil Mack. Jalen Ramsey is elite. He is 100% elite. And I hate Florida State, so it's tough for me to say. But can Jalen Ramsey be the best defensive player in the NFL? Is Blake Bortles' job in jeopardy? How will the loss of Allen Hurns affect the Jaguars? Do the Jaguars have what it takes to get back to the AFC Championship game, or was this past season a fluke?
I don't think it was a fluke. I think they are absolutely a playoff-bound team again.
It took some confidence. It seems like that's all it was, because the defense has been there. The only thing they've really added was Leonard Fournette on offense. Did Leonard Fournette give them the confidence that they had a player who was all in on the team, believed on the team, and really took them to the next level? Because that's the only thing that I can think of. Blake Bortles played, no offense, Blake Bortles facts, we love you, we're going to get to you in a little bit. But Blake Bortles really didn't play all that spectacularly for most of the season. Hell, in the playoff game against the Bills,
yeah.
he had more rushing yards than passing yards.
It's true. In the final game, I don't really think you can say it was on Bortles. The team kind of just collapsed against the juggernaut that is the Patriots.
I'm sorry, I think you mispronounced the referees handed them the game.
That's very true.
Okay. AJ Bowie got screwed out of a touchdown.
While Fournette was good, he wasn't really efficient last season, and that's worrisome. If they're going to run the ball that much, you want to see him, improve to like 5 yards per carry or something if he can. But he was at I think he was under 3 on average last year, and that's a huge issue that they really need to improve on. They bring back, I think, the vast majority of their starting defense.
He averaged 3.9 yards per game, 268 attempts, 1,040 yards, 9 touchdowns, 36 receptions for 302 yards, 8.4 yards receiving.
Okay, that's higher than I thought. But for him to be considered elite, he still needs to surpass that.
Oh, I'm not saying he's elite. I'm just saying he brings a level of intensity that, no offense, Chris Ivory never did. Like, could you honestly line up across from Leonard Fournette and not be like, oh man, I don't want him to hit me? Chris Ivory. Are you afraid of Chris Ivory?
I wouldn't want Ivory to run into me. I would much prefer him to Fournette.
Okay,
but I don't think Ivory was Ivory was still a shoulder down type dude. Fournette, I think, will be better this season, which is obviously huge. He's in shape coming into training camp. He's got a year under his belt in the NFL, and that is always big because the game's different, it's faster. So they either, I think, the organization really needs to make their choice with Bortles, which I feel like they haven't really signaled whether they've done that.
The only thing that gives me any kind of indication is that they signed him to another contract.
Right. And they signed Andrew Norwell. That's an all-pro guard. So
right.
That's huge. And that's huge for their running game, too. So I for some reason, Vegas is giving them worse odds this season, even though I think they look like they should be as good, if not better, compared to last season. But Bortles, yes, they re-signed him, but it didn't seem like they had a lot of confidence in him, and that's understandable. But you either have to, at least say you have that confidence and show that, even if you don't internally, or you got to move on to the next guy.
Exactly. So, I think, I don't know what to think.
They did lose Allen Robinson. That's a big loss, but
and Hearns.
Not irreplaceable considering Robinson was out with an ACL tear the entire season basically last year.
They lost both Allens?
Did Hearns?
He's with the Cowboys now.
Oh yeah, then they did.
Yeah.
They picked up ASJ from the Jets. That's a good tight end. They got Dante Moncrief, who's a pretty good receiver. Not anything, I think, super special.
I mean, he's good for a catch in a big spot, but he's not like OBJ. He's not like Julio Jones, Antonio Brown.
Did they draft any receivers? I think they mostly went defense.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did not. And if they did, it was late round.
So that might be tough. But again, they did it last year without Robinson, and didn't Hearns go down at one point too? Yeah. So they did it without them. So I kind of agree that it's like, hey, did we really need them? Maybe not. So I think they're going to be as good or better next year.
Right, and Rick DiPietro brings up the point all the time. Name the last Super Bowl winning team that had an elite wide receiver. You're going back to the Colts with Marvin Harrison.
Is that true?
Well, I mean, let's go back. The Eagles, who did they have? Brandon Cooks, I wouldn't consider him elite.
They had last year. They had didn't they have Alshon? Or was he hurt?
I mean, I wouldn't consider him elite. There's a reason.
He's close.
He's close-ish, I guess. But
who was the Eagles' leading receiver?
It was either Alshon or Brandon Cooks. But I wouldn't consider.
I wouldn't consider Cooks elite either.
I wouldn't consider Alshon. There's a reason that the Bears didn't re-sign him.
Well, I don't know that I've got all the faith in the Bears organization concerning the whole Trubisky thing, but you know.
But I mean, then before that was the Patriots. Who did they have? I can't even name a Patriots wide receiver. Oh, Chris Hogan. They didn't have him the year before. Who was it? Was the Patriots before that?
The Patriots have not had an elite receiver since
Randy Moss, and he lost a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Then. Yeah, the last going back, because then you have the Seahawks, who had their best receiver Doug Baldwin, not elite. The Broncos, Emmanuel Sanders, not elite.
Thomas,
they're not elite. They're very good. They're not elite. Seriously, the last one I can think of is Marvin Harrison with the Colts.
Yeah, I was gonna say, who did the Giants have any elite receivers? I don't think any of them were elite. They had
Plaxico Burress.
Not elite.
No, I wouldn't say he was elite either.
He had the potential to be elite, but
he had elite skill.
Shooting himself in the leg, kind of.
He had elite skill, was not an elite receiver.
Right.
Anyways, we got way off. So
back to the Jaguars.
Back to the Jacksonville Jaguars, of course.
Jaguars with Bortles lowered his cap number for this season, even though they gave him 3-year $54. And they can get out of the contract. It's
they can always trade him.
It's a very team-friendly contract. So this year, they'll see if he's really, I guess, worth it. Even though I kind of think he's not. He's probably under the Andy Dalton line.
I don't think he's under the Andy Dalton line.
He is. Look at statistics. Dalton is a far better quarterback.
I think Andy Dalton. Listen, unpopular opinion. I think Andy Dalton's one of the 10 worst quarterbacks in the NFL.
That's not true. He is one of the 16 worst and one of the 16 best.
You can't be both. There's 32 teams.
He's right on the line. There's never 32 quarterbacks in the league because there's always one that loses his job. So he's always in the bottom 16 and the top 16 at one point.
He did what he was supposed to. Got the Bills back to the playoffs.
He did. What was I going to say? It'll come back to me. Let's move on from the Jaguars.
And wait. The Jaguars also got Calais Campbell.
Right.
That cannot be understated.
Right.
So they are going to be better than they were last season.
Right. And what I was going to say with Blake Bortles is, there's going to be a team that's going to need a quarterback. If they can find a backup that they think could, Jacoby Brissett maybe, I don't know.
Teddy Bridgewater, if the Jets go with Sam Darnold, because I think the Jets are hoping Bridgewater shines, which he could, and then they're going to try and trade him, in my opinion. But
perhaps. I mean, Sam Bradford, the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Oh no, we need a quarterback. Hey, have you heard about Blake Bortles? Anyways, so yeah, the Jaguars are going to be good next season. The